To save his England career almost as certainly as he saved the match. He's due in Australia anyway this winter, but the more runs he scored, the less likely he was to be devoting time to hosting his controversial wine-tasting, sunbathing tour. The question of John Morris, though, remains in the balance. On 32 and going well, he unexpectedly fell to Wasson. It was the kind of unfulfilled innings too often produced by his partner. Today, though, Gower got everything right to register his 16th Test century. It seems inconceivable he won't be picked for Australia, though he'll be cautious until the announcement on September the 6th, remembering the shock of being excluded a year ago for the West Indies.
British athletes have claimed 2 gold medals at the European Championships in Split. Linford Christie retained his 100 metres title, and Steve Backley became the first Briton to win the men's javelin competition.
After a year of disappointments, Linford Christie was right back to his best today, just when it mattered. Despite trailing the Frenchman Sun Gouma in the early stages, Christie proved he's still the best sprinter in Europe in a new championship record.
Bursting through with Gouma, and it's Christie!
John Regis claimed 3rd place to give Britain gold and bronze. Christie, as so often before, setting a captain's example. An hour later came the 2nd British gold at the championships, with Steve Backley continuing his remarkable run of success in the javelin. Leading from the first round with 85 metres, his last throw of more than 87 metres just confirmed his superiority. No new world record this time for 21-year-old Backley, but another major title to add to an already impressive collection.
And now back to tonight's main news, the announcement by Iraq that all the women and children who are being held hostage there will be allowed to leave. Tonight, the British families of those trapped in the Gulf gave a cautious welcome to the news, but some relatives said they would not be happy until all the hostages were freed.
The Gulf Support Group have been fielding thousands of calls from anxious relatives since the crisis began. Tonight they're able to report what appears to be a significant concession by Saddam Hussein. But it would mean that many families would be split up, and that's something they may not accept. Ronald Nash is a pilot with Kuwaiti Airlines. He was due to fly back to his family in Kuwait on the day of the invasion. He hasn't heard any detailed news of his wife Sue, their daughter Sarah, and 2-year-old grandson Julian since. Tonight's reports from Baghdad have left him surprised and excited.
I have to say my heart's beating about 10 times more quickly than it was half an hour ago. So I'm optimistic, actually. It's the only bit of good news I've had, other than knowledge about the welfare of my family, which is also good news. But this is the first real positive news I've had since it all happened.
Another relative, whose mother was on the British Airways plane that was stranded in Kuwait, had mixed feelings.
Well, obviously, first thing is great relief that she's hopefully coming back. Still doubts that there's people being left back there that should be coming home. But first thing is my mum's coming home. That's it.
I think we should always have been, and we should continue to talk to Iraq. Our line as the Gulf Support Group is that we want all of those people returned safely, and we feel that the best way of doing that is to negotiate.
So far, there's been no response from the Foreign Office to Saddam Hussein's latest move. They say they want it confirmed before they comment.
And there'll be more in an extended news night on BBC2 at 10:30, and overnight developments, of course, in breakfast news tomorrow morning starting at 6:30. But that's the 9 o'clock news tonight. Good night.
From Newsroom South East, the main stories this evening. 3 men are still being questioned by police in Hertfordshire following the fatal stabbing of a man in Watford. The victim, who's been named as 29-year-old Dean Cleary from Oxley, was attacked last night. He died later in hospital. The Home Secretary, David Waddington, has been meeting Jewish leaders tonight to discuss the increase in attacks on their community. The Jewish Board of Deputies says it's concerned about the desecration of synagogues and cemeteries. Recent attacks include vandals daubing black swastikas on the walls of Dollis Hill Synagogue and marking 25 gravestones at Willesden Cemetery. 54 German students were injured when their coach crashed on the M4 near Slough in Berkshire this morning. The students were travelling to Dover on their way home from a holiday in Ireland when their coach veered off the motorway and rolled down an embankment. 20 people were led to safety from their homes earlier this evening after a fire broke out at a workshop in Belvedere, southeast London. Fire crews wearing protective clothing removed 5 gas cylinders from the building. The manager of a West London psychiatric hospital has been suspended following the publication of a critical report into the transfer of patients to private homes. Tom McCluskey, the manager at St Bernard's Hospital in Ealing, may now face disciplinary action. North West Thames Health Authority has launched several inquiries after last week's report, which found that up to 130 patients had been sent to homes as far away as Lancashire. This year's Notting Hill Carnival was the best on record, according to police. The number of arrests fell to 147, compared to almost 200 last year and over 1,000 in 1988. The carnival organisers are expected to announce their first profit of £14,000. And that's all from Newsroom South East. We'll be back tomorrow. Good night.
Good evening. Tomorrow in many parts of central and southern and eastern parts of England, the temperatures could get as high as 28 to 30 degrees Celsius. But this will be the last day of the high temperatures, a big change taking place. Looking on the Atlantic temperature profiles, the green shading shows the cooler air. Over the next couple of days, that's going to spread the whole way across the country, so we'll all be much cooler and fresher in the south in the next day or so. The change is coming by 2 bands of cloud, or 2 cold fronts. The first one a fairly weak affair. It's the second one that's carrying quite a lot of cloud and rain with it, and it's that one that will bring the temperature change across the country during the next couple of days. And that's how it all transfers onto the weather chart. There's the 2 cold fronts, fairly deep depression. The winds will be strengthening as well. Over the next 2 days, that cold front pushing out into the North Sea, and then we pull in these strong to gale force northwesterly winds. Today the winds were brisk in 1 or 2 places, but they will be strengthening from the south or southeast over much of the country during the next 24 hours. Then they'll go round to a southwesterly, westerly, then eventually northwesterly as they strengthen to gale force in the west. Now the rain already getting into western parts of Ireland. There's still some patchy rain and drizzle over parts of northern Wales and northwestern parts of England. But as this rain in Ireland is quite heavy at times, that'll be working its way across Northern Ireland, Scotland and into Wales and the southwest during the course of the night. And then tomorrow, as it crosses the rest of the country, fairly patchy in some parts of the south, 1 or 2 heavy showers, but some places likely to miss the rain altogether. Then a clear slot before the showers come into the west. The detail then tonight, many eastern places dry, some mist patches, quite a sticky night, temperatures in places no lower than 17. Then we find the rain coming in from the west, and then a clear slot getting into Western Ireland. Tomorrow, many central and eastern places starting fairly bright once the mist and fog is gone. The showery rain pushing across Scotland into Wales and the southwest, and then eventually into many parts of the Midlands, with brighter showery weather getting into Northern Ireland. The showers probably not arriving into the east until evening time. That's it from me.
On BBC2 now, there's the second report in the series Ain't No Black in the Union Jack, looking at 25 years of race relations.
A new ocean-going saga of family and business intrigue returns this autumn.
The trouble with you is you take things too personally. Look, it's business, that's all. I won, you lost.
Don't push your luck, Laura.
Of course I want you to do the work. You're the obvious choice. But if you sell the yard to Charles Freer, you're not going to have a yard to work in, are you?
She's a lovely boat, Jack.
No, don't you start.
This feud you have with Avril is rapidly getting out of control. It's clouding your judgment.
Oh, no. I'm seeing things very clearly right now. Avril believes she's absolutely secure. That's the very time that we strike.
A new series of Howard's Way sets sail on Sunday at 7:45 on 1.
Now, tonight's film. Candice Bergen stars in the true story of the woman who shook New York society with her high-class call girl service, Mayflower Madam.
Drive up around the corner, please.